Good afternoon. My name is Lamont Thomas. I am a parent advocate for Alameda County's Parent Engagement Program. I have been working with the Parent Engagement Program since June of 2019. I have successfully navigated the CPS system to go ahead and regain custody of my daughter, who is now 2, going on 3 in a couple of weeks. Her name is Leilana, and I'm going to share with you briefly my story. My life before my daughter was removed by CPS was sporadic. I was living day to day without a job, getting high and drinking from sun up to sundown. I was basically a menace to society with nothing to offer the world. My life was spiraling out of control and going nowhere. Right before Leilana was born, I moved into my aunt's home. I lived in the basement and stayed out of the way as much as I could. I would help associates with the projects, putting bikes together to hustle a few dollars to support my addictions. I didn't have a sense of direction at that time. At that time, my mind was clouded and I didn't have a grip on reality. Prior to Leilana being born, I wasn't working and I was in the street life. Not much to offer and no means of support. CPS came into our lives right from the jump at the hospital. I thought that everything was good. Social workers came in after Leilana's birth with a series of questions. But what I did know at the moment, at that time, I was being kicked out of the hospital and I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't going to be able to see my daughter for quite some time. Unbeknownst to me, Leilana was born with the drugs in her system and the thing that what they call POS-TOX or positive tox. Leilana's mother told me that she was in a program and she was clean. She may have been at that time, but again, my daughter was born POS-TOX. After an interview with CPS, I had a reality check. Unable to take care of my baby, I could barely even take care of myself at that time. It was then that I decided I had to do something. I had to make a change. It would be over 3 months before I could even see or hold my baby again. Not long after Leilana was removed, her mother was incarcerated. So now it was just me and the system, with a whole lot of strikes against me, being Black, jobless, alcoholic, and a drug user, and darn near homeless. When my daughter was removed, I was given a series of tasks I had to do to make sure that I was staying clean, being on track, and let it be known to everyone in the system that this wasn't going to be an easy placement or adoption, and that her dad was fighting for her and representing her. I wasn't going to just let CPS or foster people go ahead and take my daughter without a fight. My journey started at a program or a counseling center called La Familia. It's an outpatient treatment center where I tested 3 times a week. I also had therapy and counseling there. Part of my case plan in order to go through family drug court, which is now known as family treatment court. I had to have no dirty test, and attend all classes, plus an additional 3 AA and NA meetings per week. Now, let me give a brief fast forward. So after I left my aunt's house, I moved into a program, what they call an SLE, which is a sober living environment. This was Lifehouse out in Hayward. So at this time, I was testing, I found a job, and let me continue with the story. During this time, I moved into an SLE, like I had said, and I had to test 2 more times per week. So I'm testing nearly every day. All that, plus I had to keep a full-time job working at Horatio's 40 hours a week. A lot to do, but even more to lose. It kept me grounded and my eyes on the prize. Around the same time all this was happening, a parent advocate contacted me by cell phone and notified me that he had gone through and successfully navigated the CPS system. He became a reliable source of information and resources that was very beneficial in helping me. He encouraged me to go to support groups that he was co-facilitating. My journey was easier thanks to my parent advocate and support groups that I attended, like Fatherhood Circle and Parent Leadership. That man to this day is still one of my best friends and still my mentor. Leilana was put into foster care and was placed with a nice family. I initially met the foster father at a court hearing. He was a gentleman who gave me encouraging words, and I met the foster mom sometime later at my daughter's scheduled doctor appointment in San Francisco. She was also nice. We spent several hours at UCSF trying to pinpoint my daughter's allergies. Let me back up a little bit. My daughter had grew some type of allergies, and we didn't know what it was. She had broke out into hives. She was very sick at this time. Now, she was only probably 8 months, maybe even a little bit younger than that. As the story continues. We spent several hours at UCSF, trying to pinpoint my daughter's allergies. So we were able to catch up on Leilana's growth and obviously her future. I could tell they had my daughter's best interests in their care. At the same time, it appeared to me they also had their own private agenda for Leilana, and as it felt that they wanted to adopt. I really had to step my game up big time. Again, it was just me in the fight against time and CPS. I couldn't just let my daughter be lost to the system, foster care, or be adopted out. Not my family, not my own flesh, not on my watch. For nearly 2 years, I had to go through what seemed to be an infinite chase, obstacle after obstacle, hurdle after hurdle. During this time, I'm thinking, I'm a single father, working hard to get custody of my daughter, with several negative stereotypes to go against me, not only in the CPS system, in general life. From that point on, I took it on as everything I had to do. Oh, excuse me. From that point on, I took it on as if everything I had to do with me, well, even with the chip stacked against me, I never quit. I never gave up. I always stayed focused and kept in my mind what my mama, that's my grandmother, used to always tell me. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Leilana was worth it. She is worth it. And someday, if she ever reads this, excuse me, she will know the struggle I had to endure. Even after all the doubters, the haters, CPS, and everyone that didn't want it to see it happen, and then it did. This gave me the motivation and feel I needed to make a way out of no way. After 2 long years of court appearances, monitored to community visits, unsupervised to supervised visits, from foster family back to my family, the reunification process was in full swing, and the journey, and what a journey it was. After not seeing eye to eye for quite some time, Leona's mother was released from custody, and we made an agreement to split custody. I have, um, at this point, coming up on 3 years of sobriety as of this day. Leilana can look up to see that both of her parents are both clean and sober. If you would have asked me 2 years ago if I would be working for a better way in collaboration with Alameda County, I would have honestly looked at you and laughed and told you no. I look at hindsight as what has happened to me in the past 2 years, and my life has come around full circle. I've changed to a completely 180 degrees, and I have an honest living, and everything is legit. Personally, I'm living my best life now, and I'll be a liar to tell you that I did this all alone. It took a village, from counselors to advocates, judges to attorneys, from family to friends. I appreciate everyone who has had faith in me, pray for me, and this wonderful baby girl, and show their love and on every level to us. Thank you and love to you. Truly speaking, Lamont.